Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for tuning in to the Mortgage Mike Speaks podcast.
Yes.
So happy to be here.
Yeah. I'm Mortgage Mike McFarland. Got my counterpart over here, Steven Salinas.
Hello.
Yeah, we're the Mortgage Mike group.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
We put the fund back in.
Funded.
Oh my gosh. So terrible. Almost like we need the sound machine with the drum.
I'm sure he's gonna put the
Yeah.
wah,
Yeah.
wah.
Yeah. So
It's true. We do like to have fun. We love to just have fun every single day.
yeah.
Just enjoy what we enjoy what we do.
Right.
We get to work with awesome partners. We have a special guest today. Mike, do you want to introduce?
Yeah, we got Kristen Manz here. You want to introduce yourself just a little bit to everybody? And
who are you with?
Who are you with? Yeah.
Sure, thank
Give a little
you.
bit of background.
Yeah, appreciate you having me today. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. My name is Kristen Manz, and I'm the team lead of the Greater Houston Living Team, and we are brokered by EXP Realty.
Awesome.
And our main office is in the Galleria area, but of course, as realtors, we tend to cover large areas of space.
Oh, yeah.
Like we do.
Yes.
In
We have
Houston,
Houston,
bigger
no
than ever.
walls.
Yeah, right. Have a
Uh-huh.
car, phone, a computer. We can pretty much do
That's
business
right.
wherever.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
again for having me. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had. I will say we had the pleasure of meeting Kristen on the other side of a transaction as the listing agent.
Mhm.
And it went really well. Like it was just a really good transaction. Buyers, sellers, buyer's agent, listing agent, you. So, I think one of the things that we're honored and lucky is that through our transactions and helping people get into homes, we get to meet amazing people like you, Kristen.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
right.
very much.
Absolutely.
And then as an agent, it's always a pleasure and a great relief when the loans go as they are expected to go.
Yes,
So
they should go.
that's like a
Yeah.
huge weight on the shoulders
very
of all
important.
the agents. Like, oh,
Right. Yeah. And we feel the weight, and
Yeah.
we like to carry the weight. So, but yeah, it makes for such a great transaction when all of us are working together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all about teamwork.
We're constantly, absolutely. And we're constantly kind of just actively listening for kind of similar language that we use around the office.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
care, honor,
Encourage.
encourage, peace, like all those different kind of words for us. Those are like trigger words for us.
Yes.
We're like,
Hey.
did they just say we're all on the same team? Or like, did they just say that,
Absolutely.
we want to take care of my clients, and this is like a family.
Yeah, one thing
a
about
business.
real estate is that, if both agents are like-minded, if the title company and the lender and everyone are all on the same page,
Mhm.
it really makes a huge difference. It makes for a very, very smooth transaction.
Mhm.
And you don't
Absolutely.
feel like you're in a win-lose, like, oh, if I ask for this, then they're gonna take
Yeah.
away that. It's like,
Yeah.
we just all need to be honest and get it across the finish line. So what's it
Yeah.
gonna take
Yeah.
Yeah.
for everyone to be happy? And the great thing is, at the end of the day, when everyone's really pleased with the deal, the
Mm.
seller is really at peace and happy with
Mhm.
the purchase, and they're excited about the person who's going to live in their house.
Right.
And the buyer is excited about their next adventure, and they're
Mhm.
confident in what they've just purchased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought of something that I think you help bring this to the transaction for your sellers. When I look at a purchase transaction or a sale, right? If I'm buying as the buyer, it's all emotion. If I'm
Mhm.
selling as a seller, it's all financial, right? Like I hate to say it's not all financial, but it's pretty much like, hey, where am I going to net out on this thing? And once I put my house on the market, I no longer look at it as a asset on the balance sheet. It's now a liability, because I got to get from this liability to my next asset, which I'm buying.
Yeah.
And so you said when at the end of the transaction, when the seller is happy about the buyer that's buying their home, right? Like here comes the emotional part of the sale, right?
Yes, and there is a lot of emotion on the seller side.
Right.
Oftentimes, that's a house that they've lived in for 20 or 30 years,
Mhm.
probably have raised their family.
Yeah.
I mean, they have maybe recently had to paint over the threshold in the pantry that had all of their kids' heights on them growing up.
man.
Right.
I mean, so there's
Right.
there's a lot that
there.
goes on before it even goes on the market. And they'll say things to you like, oh, I hope another family with 2 kids can buy this house. Like, I don't know who's going to buy your house. We just want them to be happy here.
Right, right.
So
right.
that's a thing.
It is a thing.
And so that I've had clients, it sounds funny sometimes, but they love things like the threshold. Like, I'm like, you know what? You can call a contractor and take that threshold with you. It's
Wow.
very easy
Right.
to
right.
bring in a couple pieces of wood and paint it.
Right.
So you can always have that for your family.
Right.
And I've had people do that.
So good.
But they don't think about it.
Right.
They don't think about those
Yeah.
things like, oh, we have to move, we have to leave this behind. Like,
Yeah.
no, you really don't. You have the ability to choose what you leave and what you take. If you take something that's, a fixture, then obviously we're going to bring in something else or a new version of that for the next guy. But it doesn't have to be as emotionally difficult as it can be.
So I guess you're not in the business of real estate to sell homes, is what I'm hearing.
Well, I just kind of got placed here.
Oh.
And so
Tell us about that.
Well,
we heard your story. It was really cool. To hear how you were doing
it's
it.
probably different than most. I spent many, many years in human resources. And so I have a natural, I think, love for people and caring for people. Really wasn't a science person, so nursing was probably not in my cards. Although I will say I'm not squeamish or afraid of blood, but that has nothing to do with this.
Right.
Anyway, well, you're going to be a mom, which was my second career, was a mom for a long time.
Your most important career.
Yes, it really was. By the way, I wouldn't do real estate when I had young children, just because I wanted to be singly focused on my family.
Right.
That was just a decision that Steve and I made early on, that would be something that I wanted to do, and he was supportive of me staying home with the kids. Not to say that I didn't work, because I worked a lot. Did a lot with the kids and their organizations growing up. So I'm very well networked in that regard, which at the time I had no idea would have a bigger purpose. But now as a realtor, a lot of my clients have come from those networks that I created unknowingly. As I was raising my kids in a small community. So it was fantastic. I really love that. But how did I get into real estate? Well, a good friend of mine spoke it into me. And I don't know if this is a love thing or a hate thing. I'm just kidding. No, it was time for us to move. And I called my realtor and said, hey, it's time. And she said, yeah, okay, that's great. I'm not going to sell your house. I said, well, what do you mean? Are you not licensed anymore? Like, I think you are. She says, no, I think you should do it. And I said, well, I'm not licensed and I really don't want to get licensed. And she goes, no, you're going to get licensed and you're going to sell your own house. And this is going to be your next thing.
Wow.
And I was like, wow.
That's a good friend.
What a friend.
Yeah, they could have easily just been like, yeah, let's do it.
Right. So she gave up her
sell that
commission and made me do this thing.
She invested in you.
Well, she saw in you. She called to life what she saw inside of you.
She did.
Yeah. Right. And it's something.
Those are the friends you want.
Yeah, that's a great friend. So
she is.
Even though it may have been really uncomfortable.
Well, whenever you start something new, it's really not comfortable. So you just have to have the faith and the bravery to take that next step and go one step at a time.
Yeah.
And then decide for today if this is for you or not for you. Today, am I wake up as, am I a realtor today or am I not?
Right.
And so the answer is yes, I'm a realtor. I'm a realtor every day, 7 days a week. But that's how it started. Was someone saw in me something that I didn't see in myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stephen and I, we talk about for us is the idea of just like this narrow path that we walk in our business, right? What does that narrow path look like for you?
Well, it sort of goes back to the beginning of my real estate career. And, I didn't really want to market myself per se, because I didn't know if I wanted to do it at the very beginning. I didn't know if I was going to be part-time or full-time or, a 1 gig pony.
Right.
So
I'm selling my house and that's it.
Right? I'm like, let's make it one and done here, sports. I just didn't know. And so I just, really had some time with the Lord and just said, this is something that you want for me. I'm obedient and I'm willing to do it.
Yeah.
And if this is the path that you have for me, I will walk it. and I'm your servant, and I will serve who you bring to me.
Yeah.
And so that's really how my career started off, was just by allowing the Lord to bring to me the people that he wanted me to serve.
Yeah.
And then those people have brought people to me, and then those people have brought people to me. And it just, you know how it does, it starts to snowball.
Yeah.
But I don't market myself per se. I market my products, i.e. the homes that we have listed, the buyers that we have represented. We market our things. We don't market, you know, oh, how great we are, or here's our numbers. I don't put anything out like that. I don't write price tags on anything. I have a higher level of discretion, I think.
Yeah.
And that's how my team operates, and we're all like-minded in that we just we want to do the right thing for the client every time.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Right.
Yeah. So your team, you said that you're a team lead?
I am.
Is that right?
Yes.
So kind of going from like human resources to, you know, your friend challenging you to get your license, going to team lead, is your perspective kind of different, you know, than say, you know, just doing it on your own, not really teaching or educating anyone else?
How has that changed? Like from the big, like from where you started to where you are today, like how have you seen yourself change, or have you kind of always held to the same platform, and that's just been able to grow with you?
I think the platform has grown with me.
Yeah.
I've always been a good teacher.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I'm doing this year is I'm trying to, okay, not all the time, but I'm trying to say I don't have to go anywhere alone. So there's so many new agents in Houston and there's so many new agents in EXP, and there's so many new agents in our groups that, you know, if I'm going on a listing appointment, then I almost feel guilty that I'm not taking a new agent with me, or if I'm going to go show some houses, why am I not taking an intern with me? I mean, it's just the stuff that I'm going to be doing anyway. Then I need to have somebody shadowing me on most of the things that I do, just so they can see and learn and do. And I tell them, I said, you're going to see me in my regular self, you know, way. So if I make a mistake, I'm not going to hide it. You're going to see it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So if I say something silly, there's a good chance I'm going to say something silly, because I do have a really wicked sense of humor. And especially when you're in a negotiation, I like to use humor to lighten the mood as things kind of start to go off the tracks. You know, we'll use a little bit of humor to bring it back, because at the end of the day, everyone's human, and almost everybody has the ability to laugh.
Yeah.
We had a crazy one going on the other day, and so I said, you know what, here's the deal. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's all going to play out. But I do know this: we're all going to breathe and cooperate until it finishes.
Yes.
Everyone's going to keep breathing, and we're all going to cooperate, and it's all going to work out. And so it almost always does.
Right, it does.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because everyone's still like-minded. Everyone wants to get to the finish line. So
you figure it out.
You get there.
Yeah. And especially, and so from our perspective, to engage with real estate agents that have that mindset is absolutely refreshing, because we're all trying to get somebody into a home and somebody into their next home. And those are big things in our lives as humans to deal with. And we don't need to be an impediment to that process. We just need to facilitate it in the easiest way we can with the least amount of anxiety. So that's so appreciated on our side. And there's just times where, I mean, I know this, that we've said it before, where we're working on a transaction and it's just time to pray. You know, I mean, at that, you're like, I'm not really sure what an answer is right now, because I don't have it. This would be between Stephen and I or the rest of my group, but it's like, and I think we can pray about this. And I will tell you that every time the Lord comes up with an answer and a clear path to solve the problem, and we get through it and we move. And just sometimes just grabbing hold of it so tight restricts us from seeing what we need to see, and just being able to say, okay, I know, God, you want this to happen for these people, so make me a vessel. and allow me, work through me
Yeah,
to solve the problem. Because right now I'm grabbing hold of something and I can't see the path out.
yeah.
So
You have to get a higher perspective,
right on.
you know?
Yeah, yeah. You were very involved with your community too, right? I
Mhm.
mean, you do some volunteering. I know there's some places where your heart really lies, and things that you care about. Would you like to share those?
Sure,
share
thank
those with
you.
us?
I'm
Yeah.
happy to.
Yeah.
My husband, Steve, and I have a very strong heart for missions.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
we both sit on national or international ministry boards, and we have a very strong commitment to humanitarian aid and the spreading of the word. So,
Yeah.
gosh, when you can combine, the love of Christ and the distribution of the word along with humanitarian aid and just loving people where they are in the darkness,
Yeah.
that's just really where our passion lies.
Right.
And it's so great.
Mhm.
And so the group that I work with is called Serve Now, and we've had a really long, it's going to be longer, I'm sure. We've had a very committed effort in the Ukraine
Okay.
for many, 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 many years.
So prior
Yeah.
to
Long before
all of this
Ukraine,
that's going on,
long
Yeah.
before Ukraine hit the news reels.
Yeah.
We've been in
Mhm.
Ukraine for a long time. So actually our ministry was preparing for some of this before it even hit. We could
Yeah.
sense it was coming. And so
Mhm.
a lot of our efforts in 2022 have been toward Ukraine
Oh, that's
and saving people and evacuating people,
Wow.
hopefully helping them rebuild soon.
Mhm.
But just the many, many stories that come out of Ukraine just it breaks your heart, and it also encourages at the same time
Mhm.
to know that donations and money is going towards something that's extremely needed and relevant and changing people's lives.
Right on.
And
Mhm.
just a little bit amount of money that we can give
Mhm.
can make a huge impact in a different part of the world, and that to us that's super encouraging,
Right.
and we love
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can take the prosperity of what we have here,
Mhm.
and that can be multiplied sevenfold in other countries.
Easily,
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
it's great.
or 17-fold or 70-fold.
Mhm.
Right. And to be able to take that heart for the nations. I didn't
Mhm.
really understand that word until recently, quite honestly, but I get it, and I get it now. And to live it out is such a beautiful thing, Kristen. Like, really, we want to encourage you in that. That's
Thank you.
so good that you do that, and that's a part and parcel to who you are as just another person on the planet and a real estate agent
Mhm.
Mhm.
that cares not only about the nations and the clients that are in front of you that you're dealing with, and helping buy and sell real estate. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, I use real estate as a way to be able to send more money overseas.
Right on. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the way it
Yeah.
I
should
mean,
be.
we pay our
Yes.
bills too, but
Yeah. Right.
we try to make our donations as our first fruits.
Yeah.
And we pay our bills
Yeah,
after that.
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, we see lots of tax returns, and I'm surprised at how many people do not
Yeah.
give.
Oh, I bet.
It's just, it's kind of heartbreaking, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, if we all just gave that portion, that first portion, and it's not a lot, but multiplied on the whole, it's so big, and it makes such a big difference
Huge
in the
impact.
lives of
Mhm.
people, and the lives and the people in this world, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like every world
Absolutely.
problem could be solved if we all just jumped in that way. Right? Yeah,
I don't
we would
know.
hope it would
I
be.
don't know.
I mean-
Don't ask me about some of that.
Yeah,
So
so,
crazy.
Yeah, I think one thing Mike and I talk about a lot is, like, this is kind of just a way that we provide for people in a kind of tangible way to meet their needs, but really, like creating a mortgage or helping people find a home, you realize that, and we talked about this earlier, it's really just about those relationships that you're forming, that really can impact their soul.
Yeah.
They can really, it's like I was talking to actually my grandmother the other day, where she mentioned, like, home, like, because she recently moved from like Austin to Houston. Home is like where their family is.
yeah,
Like, home is where your family is, like where you feel loved, accepted, all these different emotions. And so, we try to communicate our care and our like who we are through like the relationships we have with our clients. And I know you do too, because you're having like these conversations with these people and they're dealing with so many different things.
Right.
You know, they can be stressed about like deadlines and money and all these different things, and you kind of have to
We just
You
go
just
one
have
step,
to
we just go one
get
step
them
at a
back.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get them to kind of just not worry about that, but just focus on, hey, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
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 Hold their hand, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
you realize that this is like a very long relationship
Mhm.
if it's done the
It's
right
done the
way.
right way.
That's right. It's done correctly. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And we get to do it again and again. And
Mhm.
but we got a call from a guy we put in a home 2 years ago.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
And the beauty of it, right, is that he's calling me, working with the agent that
Yeah.
that referred him to us. And we're able to come back together as a team
Doing it again.
That's
and
great.
do it again, right? And
Wash,
that's-
rinse, and repeat.
right. It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm talking to a friend.
Yeah.
This isn't a transaction. It's like, oh yeah. And that is so great. This is happening. And yes, we can help. Let's get the process going. This just really warms my heart. Like in that, like that would, if every transaction will lead to that place is the lens that I look through.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Right. It's like every
That is the goal.
transaction that takes place, we end up having a deeper relationship with the people that we've got to either put in the
Right.
home or work with that allows us to do that again.
Absolutely.
Right. I just want to do
Absolutely.
loans and mortgages and do this business with people that I like and I'm having fun with. And,
Yeah.
right. Like
Right. Yeah.
that's the fun part.
That is the fun part. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
to be a resource for them, not only through the closing, but,
Mhm.
after the closing, like,
Yeah.
hey, who cuts your hair? Or who
Right.
do you use for a dentist? Things
Right.
like that, just caring for the family, going to someone's volleyball game or seeing, going to a football game and saying, oh, that's my client's kid down there. That's great.
Yes.
I didn't even know
That's
he
awesome.
played, or whatever it is,
That's
it's just
really cool.
kind of doing life together. And
Yeah.
Mm.
Doing life together is huge, and you can't replace that. Like there's
Right.
all these different technologies and all these different faster ways to do things, easier ways to do
Sure.
things, but like actually meeting with people at a table is going to become a lost art, but people really want that.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
if they don't want it up to a point, and then when they need it,
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, now
Then
we're
you're like-
only doing face to face.
Right.
Yeah, they're
We're
like,
good.
who can you call?
Right.
And you can't call anybody whenever when you sacrifice that.
Right.
Right.
in
Or
the
we
beginning.
have a whole generation of people that don't know how to do that. That's just crazy.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
It's as
Mhm.
much
Well,
as.
they're very tech savvy,
Mhm.
or text centric, I should say,
Yeah.
and up to a point,
Yes.
and then at some point, then it flips.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
And that's pretty cool when it
Right,
flips.
and
So
then
if we're
it's
getting
like,
close to the flip,
Sit down.
we're
and let's
getting
go.
close to the flip.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
I-
can we meet?
I like to think of it. It's like we're just getting a little bit closer, and then all of a sudden it's like we got our arm around you. By the time it's all done, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
We have this.
Yeah.
Just go do this part. Everything else is gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's handled.
Pack your boxes
Mhm.
because we got it from here.
That's right. It's like, it's time to pack the boxes.
Right. That's
I was
your
like,
job.
I'll let you know when it's time to pack.
Yeah. Or buy furniture or
Yeah.
Or
Not until after
But
you
please
close on the
don't,
house.
please don't buy any
Yeah,
more.
Please, no car,
Don't
don't
get your
your
fridge.
furniture on credit, don't do a fridge yet
Just
until
wait.
we close.
I know it's gonna take forever for those to come in. You might be
Yeah.
working on a campfire stove in the
Exactly. You're just
backyard.
gonna
Maybe, maybe I'm gonna give you a Yeti cooler for your
Yeah.
closing gift. I don't know.
And a year supply with the dry ice, and you're gonna be
There you
all right.
go.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it happen. What's it gonna take?
Go to the
We'll be
local
there.
washateria.
Right.
and figure it out. Yeah, that's so true. But I like talking about stuff like that because there's all these funny scenarios that always they just kind of happen. You kind of have to laugh.
You
Like,
do. It's
You're like,
fun.
how did that happen?
How did you do that?
I had somebody many years ago,
They just
like,
weren't thinking. They didn't know.
yeah, they went on their Disney
They didn't know.
vacation. They put the
Yeah.
entire thing on their credit
I
card.
bought
I'm
a
like,
car.
you just blew your qualifying ratios.
Yeah.
Like,
Whoops.
we gotta fix this, like, you're not gonna
No.
close on your house.
Magic.
Yeah, the Magic
We need it.
Kingdom.
We need the Magic
Actual-
Kingdom.
Right.
Magic at this point.
The good thing is we worked magic and and we got it done. But it's
Yeah.
just, those are the surprises. It's
Sure.
like,
That's
Mm.
funny.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
no,
Well, those come up. That's real life.
Yeah, it just comes
it
up.
does. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we like to, whenever we kind of have podcasts like this, it's really fun to hear like everyone's kind of unique things that drive them, motivate them in their work. What are some of the things that you kind of touched on them,
Mhm.
like really, I love what you said just about, your job, you're using it to, like serve and love
Yeah.
and give,
Right.
because then you're actually entrusted with more because you were faithful with like the little things.
Right.
Mhm.
And that I think is really cool. And it's a unique thing. And I think the agents that you're bringing on, with you to all these different things are going to notice that just a different way to do business.
Mhm.
That's
I
actually
hope so.
the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because you think like doing the right thing, you have to sacrifice, but actually like doing the right thing is, it's the most rewarding.
And not a sacrifice.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not. It's
Yeah.
not a sacrifice. Or you may sacrifice like reputation or,
Mhm.
the quick, like your friend, she's sacrificed like commission
Right.
for the sake of
Yeah.
caring. And I think it's a great example
Mhm.
of kind of just how you can see
Yeah.
people and really make a difference in
Right.
the transaction.
Great. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we always have fun. We
Yeah.
always put a spark of fun in it,
Right.
one way or the other.
Right.
Mhm.
We find the fun.
Mhm. Yeah.
For
And
sure.
teach them as we go,
Mhm.
you and I have an obligation to raise up a generation
We do.
behind us
Absolutely.
and give them, I'm looking at Stephen and just saying, like, I understand the importance of,
Yes.
like, I know one way to do business, I know another way that brings much more life. And if I can help impart that to
Yeah.
as many people as I possibly can, then ideally, like, that's just begins to change the trajectory of somebody's life and their business.
Right.
And maybe they don't have to go through some of the pain points we had to go through.
Maybe.
You know?
Stand on my shoulders.
Right,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I love working with first-time buyers.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my
We do too.
favorites. Just,
Oh yeah.
I love,
Always the
helping
best.
them step into homeownership. It's
Mhm.
just,
Yeah.
there's something really special and unique about that.
I agree. I
It's
agree.
a different sense of joy, I think, for me
Mhm.
personally.
Yeah, it's the same thing for us. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just
Those are the
more
best.
more of excitement around it. There's a satisfaction of seeing that process take place and knowing that when you get to the end that there's like a real measurable result that happens
Mhm,
from that. And
absolutely.
helping people build wealth through real estate.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Setting
like,
them up for success
this
from a very
is
young
it.
age.
Yes, at a young age.
So great.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so great.
Mhm.
It's an honor and a privilege.
Mhm, for
really,
sure.
Yeah,
for
for
us
sure.
to get to do things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No doubt about that. So,
Mhm. Well, thanks again for coming.
yeah.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks
Just
for
sharing
having
your
me.
story. We always like to tell the people that are watching, if you like what you're hearing, please reach out to us. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna put all of the information that you need down below,
Down below somewhere. in the-
wherever
Yeah.
wherever it is.
Yeah.
But this is just a place where we get to
Yeah.
highlight you and yeah, it's a fun.
Yeah. If you need an awesome real estate agent, we got one right here for you.
Yes. Thank you
very much.
Cares.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
It's her heart. It's what she does. We are the Mortgage Mike Group, and we bring financing from the heart, just beyond just fun and funded.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's it. That's a show.
Yep.
We'll
See you
see
guys
ya.
later. See you next time.